Is water wet? Now, this is probably a question you've heard before or have asked yourself, but was it answered? And if it was it answered correctly? Anyways, here's what I think on that question. If you Google the question, is water wet, it'll likely come up with an article by Science Focus, and what it answers is, it depends on the way you define it. If you define it the way most scientists define it, you see wetness as a liquid's ability to maintain contact with a solid surface. If you did it that way, water would not be considered wet. But if you define it as made of liquid or moisture, as some people do, then water and every other liquid is considered wet. But this means there's only two sides. Water is always wet or it can never be wet. I think that's wrong. If you Google the definition of wet, the definition is covered or saturated with water or another liquid. The definition of saturated is holding as much water or moisture as can be absorbed. Definition of absorb is to take in or soak up by chemical or physical action. Water can take in other water, so this can make water wet. But water can only be wet if it is holding as much water as it can be. This makes it seem like it'd be impossible for water to be wet because water doesn't seem to have a limit to how much it can hold. But for the fun of it, why don't we set a limit? And I've come up with a way we can do it. Surface tension. For example, when you put water on a coin, it can only hold so much water until it spills. So when you put as much water as you can on a coin and it doesn't spill, that is when water is wet. But if you have water in a water bottle, that water itself is not wet. In conclusion, I really don't know why I made this video.